Hi friends, we are discussing optical fiber. Now let us look in detail into the cross-sectional area of a fiber optic cable and how it looks like, the constructive part of it, and what are the crucial things we need to know from that. For that I am considering a cross-sectional view of an optical fiber having a core and a cladding. The refractive indices of core and cladding be N1 and N2. Cladding is at the outer edges. Here N1 is always greater than N2. This is the center one is the optical fiber axis. Let us suppose that fiber is in, let us say, air medium. Therefore, let its refractive index be N0. Let us suppose here the light is entering here at this point. From outside, the light is entering. So suppose the light is entering, making an angle like this. So if you extend the fiber axis, this is angle of incidence I. So this is what basically we call it as incident light. So light is incident light while entering into the core at A makes an angle theta I with the fiber axis. So in the core, it travels along AB. That means this ray is touching here. So call this as point as B. So it is traveling along AB and is incident at point B on the core cladding interface. Now this angle is theta R. Theta R is the angle of refraction at the point A, right? And here, if you draw a normal, call it as point C. This is the right angle. This angle is theta. That is, the incident light while entering into the core at point A makes an angle theta I. This is theta I with the fiber axis. In the core, it travels along AB and is incident at point B on the core cladding interface. Let theta R be the angle of refraction at a point A and theta be the angle of incidence at B. When this theta is greater than the critical angle is the theta C. When this theta is greater than the critical angle, the total internal reflection takes place in the core. So the total internal reflection takes place in the core. So therefore, it tries to fall like this. When this theta is greater than the critical angle, what we call as theta C, then the total internal reflection takes place in the core and light takes the path BD. BD is the light path. So from here, due to multiple reflections, the propagation of light ray takes place throughout the fiber. That means again from here, it will go here and from there it comes out like that. So let me explain once again. We are considering a cross-sectional view of an optical fiber having core and cladding of refractive indices N1 and N2 such that N1 is greater than N2 because core is denser medium and cladding is rarer medium. So fiber, let us suppose the fiber is in air medium. This is the optical fiber axis. Okay. Now here at this point, suppose the light is incidenting in this direction. So the incident light while entering into the core at this point A makes an angle theta I. Theta is nothing but angle of incidence with the fiber axis. So in the core, it travels along in this direction, that is along AB. Let this point be B. In the core, it travels along AB and is incidenting at a point B where at the core cladding interface. Okay, then this naturally will become theta R is the angle of refraction at point A, and here this angle theta is the angle of incidence at B. When this theta is greater than the critical angle, so you can draw a normal here. BC is the normal drawn at this point. When this theta is greater than the critical angle is taken as theta C. When this angle theta is greater than the critical angle, naturally TIR will take place. That is, total internal reflection takes place inside the core and the light will take the path BD. So like this, due to multiple reflections, the propagation of light ray takes place. Inside the core it is TIR. So from here, not this one, from here it comes out like this. So that's how it travels. Understood? So with this background, we shall try to understand something else. Light can incident from here, 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 here like this. So let us say up to this maximum light can incident. So in between anywhere incident light can come. Beyond this and beyond this, let us say light cannot enter. Now this area, if you close with the surface, it appears like a cone. Right? This is what we have to remember. Now we shall try to interpret the entire process for further understanding. At point A, we will apply Snell's law. The angle of incidence is theta I, angle of refraction is theta R, the refractive index of air is N0 or N0, the refractive index of core is N1. So therefore at core air interface, we will apply Snell's law. So when you apply Snell's law at this core air interface, sin theta I by sin theta R is equal to N1 by N0. You just cross multiply this. N0 sin theta I is equal to N1 sin theta R. You call it as equation 1. Now at point B, a normal is drawn. BC is the normal, drawn from the point B to the fiber axis. So therefore, from this ABC is a triangle. So what is theta R plus TT? Theta R in this triangle ABC, theta R plus theta is equal to 90. Therefore, theta R is equal to 90 minus theta. That we can substitute. So because of we have drawn a normal, then from that triangle, we understood that theta R plus theta is equal to 90. Therefore, theta R is equal to 90 minus theta, called as equation 2. Now, substitute this in equation 1. That is, from equation 2, equation 1 implies, that means wherever you have theta R here, you substitute 90 minus theta for this. So, you will get N0 sin theta I is equal to N1 sin 90 minus theta. Understood? That is, n naught sine theta I, sine 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta. Therefore, this is n1 cos theta, called as equation 3. Right? To get total internal reflection at this point B, which is nothing but core cladding interface, as I told you earlier, the incident angle theta should be greater than the critical angle. That means theta should be greater than theta C. Then only TIR can occur. So therefore, in that case, what is the maximum angle of incidence at this point A? So what should be the maximum angle of incidence at point A, for which theta is greater than theta C? For theta to be greater than critical angle theta C at this point, what should be the maximum angle of incidence? Let it be the maximum angle of incidence be theta A, so that at A the light gets into the core, and at B naturally theta will become greater than theta C, so that TIR can happen. So that is what we are going to write. So to get the total internal reflection at point B, theta should be greater than critical angle. So therefore, we are assuming that the maximum angle of incidence at point A should be theta A. Therefore, this is what we call finally as acceptance angle. For theta to be either equal or greater than theta C. That means for TIR to happen here, the theta should be greater than theta C. So that depends on this incident angle. So theta I should become theta A, that maximum angle, so that at B TIR can happen. Understood or not? When that happens, in this equation, theta I will become theta A and theta will become theta C. That is what we are going to write. So in this equation, which is equation 3, as per the discussion we made, then theta I will become theta A, that is the maximum angle of incidence, and theta will become theta C. So therefore, what will happen to this equation? So you will have n naught sine theta A is equal to n1 cos theta C. What is sine theta A therefore from this? Sine theta A is equal to, send to this side, n1 by n naught into cos theta C. But we know that the critical angle sine theta C is equal to n2 by n1. So therefore, this is sine theta C. So using sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1, was cos theta C equal to, so using sine square theta C plus cos square theta C is equal to 1. From this you can write cos theta C equal to square root of 1 minus sine square theta C. So this you can apply. So from sine theta C, therefore we can write cos theta C as square root of 1 minus sine square theta C means sine theta C is n2 by n1, that is n2 square by n1 square. So call this as equation 4, no problem. Now take LCM on this. Cos theta C is equal to square root of n1 square minus n2 square by n1 square. So you can bring cos theta C is equal to, bring n1 outside, rest will be n1 square minus n2 square. So call it as equation 5. Put this value of cos theta C in equation 4. So substitute equation 5 in equation 4. Equation 5 gives us cos theta c value. Equation 4 has cos theta c value. So put this value of cos theta c here. What we will get? Sin theta a is equal to n1 by n0 into cos theta c. What is cos theta c? Square root of this. So square root of n1 square minus n2 square by n1. Right. Now strike off these two. Now what is the sin theta a you got, therefore after simplification as square root of n1 square minus n2 square by n0. Let us say call this as equation 6. Now here the medium you have taken is air. Therefore for air medium, for the starting incident light, n0 is equal to 1. So therefore from this sin theta a will become square root of n1 square minus n2 square. That implies theta a is equal to 1 by sin. That is sin inverse of square root of n1 square minus n2 square. Understood? So here theta a in this expression is the maximum incidence angle of light at the core so that light can be guided through the fiber. So therefore this angle is what is known as acceptance angle. Theta a is the maximum angle of incidence of light at the core so that the light can be guided through the fiber. Therefore this angle is called angle of acceptance angle. That is, acceptance angle is the maximum angle of incidence at the core of the optical fiber so that the light can be guided through it and is given by this equation. So how do we define acceptance angle now? This is how you can define acceptance angle. It is the maximum angle of incidence at the core of an optical fiber so that the light can be guided through it. This is what is called acceptance angle, represented as theta a. This is the mathematical value of expression for acceptance angle of an optical fiber. From this also you can understand acceptance angle. Light is incidenting from here. So this is the maximum limit. Similarly from the other side, light this. So this is the area through which light can enter. Any light coming from here and here cannot enter. So this is the maximum angle of incidence for which light is entering into the core. Entered light is properly made to or guided through, flow through this. So that is what is required. Understood? That A, that is theta A, is nothing but acceptance angle. Now, if you rotate this acceptance angle about the fiber axis, we get an incident cone with a semi-vertical angle theta A. This incident cone, that means if you rotate this incident cone, light cone, at the cone of the optical fiber will be accepted by the fiber for guiding the light through it. And therefore this is what is called acceptance cone. That means, simply speaking, the light coming from outside only when enters into this cone area, that only undergo TIR. Any light that is coming other than this cannot enter. That is what it means. I am recapping. Originally light is entering like this, and here it is undergoing TIR. That means here only theta can become greater than theta c. For that to happen, the maximum angle of incidence at this point, what we have taken as theta I, that means theta I will become theta A. That is acceptance angle. So any light outside this, similarly any light outside this area cannot enter. That's how we made this. Now when you rotate the acceptance angle theta A about the fiber axis, we are getting an incident cone with a semi-vertical angle as theta A. This incident cone, light cone we can say, at the core of an optical fiber will be accepted by the fiber for guidance inside through it, and this is what is known as acceptance cone. Clear? That means this cone will act as something like an entry point for the light. So what we call as an aperture, which will have a numerical value. So therefore, what should be the light gathering power of an optical fiber? The light gathering power of an optical fiber is depending on the acceptance angle here. So it has a value. Therefore, this area is what is known as, this cone allows the light to fall through. So the light gathering power of the optical fiber depends on the acceptance angle, that is theta A. It is proportional to theta A. Therefore, it has a value. Hence, it is called numerical aperture. So, numerical aperture is the light gathering power of the optical fiber. It is generally denoted as Na. It is always proportional to the acceptance angle. Therefore, mathematically, if you see the numerical aperture value, it is equal to sine of the acceptance angle. Sine of the acceptance angle multiplied by sine of the acceptance angle. What is sine theta A? But sine theta A is equal to what? Square root of n1 square minus n2 square. So therefore, you can write numerical aperture as square root of n1 square minus n2 square. You can expand this like this. Square root of n1 plus n2 into n1 minus n2. Because it is a square minus b square, therefore you can write as a plus b into a minus b. Now, what is n1 minus n2? n1 minus n2 is nothing but the difference of refractive index. You can say delta n. You can write it as delta n. So you can write this as this n1 minus n2. You can write as delta n or delta n1. Therefore, what is delta? From this you can write delta as n1 minus n2 by n1. In that way also you can write. Now here for n1 minus n2 we can write this. So Na can be written as square root of n1 plus n2 into n1 delta or delta n1, either way. Now delta is this value. So fractional change in the n1 and n2 are refractive indices. So any fractional change in the refractive indices of core and cladding. So for all, if you take most of the optical fibers, almost core and cladding will have approximately equal refractive indices. That means n1 is approximately equal to n2. So when n1 is approximately n2, then n1 plus n2 can be written as 2n1 or 2n2. Therefore, you can write numerical aperture in this equation as 2n1. So square root of 2n1 square, you can write like that, delta. So you can take n1 outside, square root of 2 delta. This is the expression for numerical aperture. this numerical aperture Na, it can be increased by increasing delta value. This is constant. This you cannot change. So by increasing the delta value, Na can be increased, and thus you can enhance the light gathering capacity of the optical fiber. This is about numerical aperture. So now we have seen acceptance angle, acceptance cone, and numerical aperture in optical fiber. So maybe in the next session we shall focus on understanding types of optical fibers like step index optical fibers, graded index optical fibers, etc. in the next session. Okay.